All right, Jackson Laundry. First overall in the Multisport Canada placed the Elite Series with finishing overall here with the money in the money. So tell us how the series went for you, and of course racing 4 races and pretty much crushing it.
All right, yeah, thanks. Like you said, I did 4 races, starting in Woodstock. Throughout the season, there were a few names that kept coming up and challenging me for a lot of those the wins that I did eventually get. Alex van der Linden was right on my heels all season long. He raced me in Woodstock to start, and Andrew Bolton was there as well, and Michael Nathan, and I was able to get the win there. But there was really close racing for second place, and even those guys were pushing myself to stay ahead for first. And then the last race of the season was Wasaga Beach, which was club champs, and that was a great race. All the teams were out, and that was a bit of a nervous race for me. I had a little bit of a bad swim, but I had a great bike, and I was able to run well. Also, eventually on the bike course, passing Alex van der Linden, and just having guys to race with all year was a lot of fun, a lot of motivation, and I was really happy to be able to get the win on the tiebreaker actually for points with Alex van der Linden.
Now I know you're almost following in the footsteps of a lot of our big Canadians, at least on the long course circuit. Cody Beals did well locally, Lionel Sanders, and I know your focus is not necessarily in the longer distance side of things. So how, tell us about that focus and maybe in 2016 and beyond.
Well, so far I've just tried to gain experience in the short course, gain speed, and I'm still doing some racing in draft legal. Next season, I hope to still do some draft legal racing, but I also, in the non-drafting side, want to start thinking about moving up to half iron distance. I'm planning to do Barrelman, and that be my first half iron distance race, and that'll be a lot of fun. I've heard it's a great venue. Maybe even some of the pros I may follow in the footsteps of, like Cody Beals or Lionel Sanders, will be there. So I think that would be a lot of fun and a good way to build to, I guess, an A race sort of at the end of the season.
Now, do you think maybe that focus probably if there was more sort of non-draft legal or the shorter course races, probably if those races were still around and professionally allow you to stay around in those races rather than having to move up. Like I know what Cordy had this talk about a few minutes ago, talking about resisting the urge to go too long too soon.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's definitely the incentive there. There's, as far as short course goes for non-drafting, there's not a lot in terms of pro racing with prize money. The multi-sport series is great, but just in terms of number of races, there aren't a lot that do have prize money. So it is tempting to move up a little early for the half iron distance, but I think keeping a bit of a draft legal focus as well. I'm still a little undecided on where my best racing is that keeps me kind of motivated at the short distance, and then as I get older and more experienced and more mileage on my legs, I can move up and hopefully have success and maybe make some more prize money, but that's not really the overall goal. It's more just the journey. So
Yeah. Now, with your current training, how much of a step up, I don't know if necessarily say a step up or increase in volume and all that sort of stuff, would it be for you to specifically target those 70.3 distance?
In terms of overall volume, the difference between a short course pro and a long course pro really isn't much, if any. It's more just the zones you train in. Longer main sets and sort of more threshold type stuff is typical for a long course athlete, and higher intensity, shorter efforts, I guess you could say, is for short course. I would need to increase my volume gradually like I am now, and maybe 10, 15, 20% a year type thing. And ultimately, whether I end up in short course or long course, I think my volume would be roughly the same. Cody mentioned he does in his big weeks roughly 25 hours of training. That would probably be around where I am as well. So hopefully the amount of training doesn't have to get too excessive. I want to still be able to walk in the morning, but yeah, I think I still have room to gain maybe 10, 15, 20% more volume in my training.
Now, I know obviously with LPC there, now do you do a lot of your training with, I know you do head out there for the time trials and things like that, a lot of your training single, by yourself or the group aspect?
I do a mix of both. A lot of the easy training, the kind of mileage off-season stuff is on my own, but then each week there's 2, 3, 4 team workouts. Those are the big workouts, the hard workouts, where it's great to have teammates around to push you. It makes it more fun, really, to have those hard workouts with a group, and I do those with Team LPC. But then even some of the easier mileage, it's great to even hook up with athletes and go for a run who maybe aren't on the team, just from the local area. So I always definitely try to train with others as much as I can, just to keep things interesting.
Now, looking at 2016, what are probably going to be your first race of the season?
I'll probably be doing the Claremont ITU Pan Am Cup race. That's in, I believe, March, and that's always my first race of the year. I usually don't have a really big build-up for that one, but it's great to get the ITU experience and have that early race, and then my typical progression would be I'll do Woodstock, and then this year I'm really going to look at which races am I doing, and I think I raced a little bit too much last year, so perhaps shortening the total number of races, but I'm hoping to still get the 4 multi-sports in, and then some draft legal racing, provincial championships, national championships, and then eventually I will go on, hopefully, to do Barrowman as my first half. So that's kind of a general plan, but everything's still a little bit up in the air.
All right, we look forward to seeing you at Barrowman and the other races in 2016.